Hello and welcome to Sound and Vision, episode 3.
Musicians in movies.
Absolutely. Again, I am your host, Ian James, and once again, I am joined by the brilliant and beautiful Miss Hope Wade.
Hello, hello.
Good to have you back.
Oh, thanks for having me. Who else are you going to have?
I don't know, it's going to be a lonely show.
Yeah, it would.
Okay, so can I just say, before we start on the subject of this,
Yeah.
a big thank you to everyone who's listened to the first couple of shows and hopefully listening to this one. And we've now joined YouTube.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. Don't mind the videos because we're still trying to figure it out. But yeah, we're on YouTube. Subscribe. And we are on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
So you can look up Sun Vision and we post different things on there
Yeah.
in different groups. And you can join in our conversations.
Yeah, we're trying to cover a lot of different subjects, and obviously including music, movies, TV,
Yeah. Everything music and movies, TV,
pop culture.
pop culture.
Yeah.
That's our thing.
Okay, so today's show we're looking at musicians in the movies. Struggling with this really bad today.
Is it that farmer accent coming out? Or whatever you call it?
It be me farmer accent.
I don't even know what that means.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, to all the American people, they don't know farmer. They know your English.
Farmer Ted. This is my tribute to Anthony Michael Hall.
Farmer Ted. I like Farmer Ted.
Okay, so first of all, I'll ask you, are you a fan of musicians acting in movies? Does it
Not
take you out
really.
the movie?
It does. It depends because, like, they're very much, they shouldn't be doing too many things at once, I think. Like, some
Yeah.
people aren't that good. Like, say, thankfully, did Mick Jagger ever do a...
He did.
He did.
I will touch
Oh,
on that
Lord.
later.
See, I don't remember that, and
Okay.
thankfully I don't remember
No,
that
he's-
because I
he's in a
just
good
couldn't...
one.
Is he a good
Yeah.
actor?
He's not a good actor, but he's in a good movie.
Okay. See, I get surprised if they're actually better acting than they are at their music.
Why do you think they do it? Do you think it's a vanity thing, like, oh, I can do
All of it.
anything? Yeah. Or do you think it's a need to kind of push their artistic boundary? I sound pretentious as hell.
Yeah,
but
because I guess some people do have that artistic output. They want to do some, it's weird because I guess some actors do grow up. It's funny. I couldn't imagine like John Cusack doing
music.
yeah, like a music. But don't tell me he does music, does he?
No.
Okay. But then you have Kevin Bacon. But does he sing? Because I don't ever listen to his music.
I
So
don't know. Yeah, this is something we were discussing just before we came on, and I have to be really honest. As far as actors playing in groups and stuff, I know of some of them being musicians, such as Keanu Reeves and
Johnny Depp.
Russell Crowe. Yeah, so these people play in bands, but I really have Jeff Goldblum too. I haven't really no desire to really hear
Listen
them
to
play
him.
music,
Me either.
which may be snobbery on my behalf, but that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know why I've never looked up like even like Kiefer Sutherland,
Oh, yes.
like none of them I've really looked up, and supposedly they're popular and they have like a popular following.
But do you think that people go to these gigs purely to see that person? Like, it must be really disheartening to whoever's playing bass and drums that day, because it's like, oh, Jared Leto's on the stage. I don't know who the drummer is. I couldn't give a shit. I'm just here to see
him.
a movie star on stage. And I think that's unfair on the band. And I think it, unlike the other way around, which we're going to discuss, I think it distracts from the band. And it's almost like a load of young girls have gone to see an actor
Yeah.
in a band rather than a band.
Yeah.
So we're not really going to talk too much about that because it's just a funny subject. I mean, it could make a discussion, but one I don't have too much of an opinion on, really.
No, see, I'm interested now, like
Okay.
to go and hear it, but I wouldn't be too impressed because I already like their acting. I don't think I can like both at the same time. Like if I like an actor, I don't know if I can like their music. So is that weird?
But no, not at all. But if and what we're doing today is switching that scenario around by talking about musicians acting in movies. And the thing is, I think it's completely different. I think sometimes a musician enhances a movie. Sometimes it, like you said, it does distract on occasions, but sometimes it can enhance a movie or just add an extra layer of interest to the movie, where I don't think it works the other way around.
Yeah. I don't think so either. You mean like when actors do the music?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just think I think this subject from this side then
Yeah.
is of more interest.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess going right back then to the 1950s and 1960s even, where musicians were multitasking, it seemed back then. You know, you had the likes of, you know, people like Frank Sinatra who were starring in movies as well as making music.
See, I do. See, with him, though, he's an exception. I do like his music, and I do like his acting,
And,
which is weird.
yeah. And I mean, by the time we've summed all this up, I will probably go on record now as saying I think he's the best. In terms of acting, he's the best musician I've ever seen act in a movie.
Well, then there's Dean Martin, too.
Yeah. Yeah, Dino's great.
Yeah.
And always fun in anything you see him in. I love the Matt Helm pictures. He made these spy spoof movies in the 60s when that was a popular thing to do because of James Bond. And I really like those. And I love Dean Martin with the Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, I was going to say
absolutely.
him and Jerry Lewis was the best. Yeah.
But it always felt that as much as I like Dean Martin, he's always kind of playing himself, a persona that is Dean Martin, which was fun. But I always felt the Sinatra like really pushed.
Yeah, he did. He tried to bring out.
Yeah, exactly. And he
artistic side.
Yeah, and I think more often than not, I always found him really impressive.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it works, I guess, with some people.
Yeah, and hopefully we're going to touch on a few more that have done a decent enough job. So yeah, going right back to Sinatra, who famously won an Oscar for From Here to Eternity, if my memory serves me well, hopefully so. And that whole incident that he was making musicals at the time. On the Town and various other ones I'm starting to forget now. You've obviously got... What was the chuckle for?
Just On the Town.
On the Town, yeah. It's great. Stanley Donen, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gene Kelly. So yeah, hence him making musicals, but he wanted to branch out and be, you know, considered a dramatic actor and good at his art. Obviously inspired by that whole 50s thing with Marlon Brando and stuff, which is a funny little link here. Just a brief story that the scene in The Godfather, I don't know if you remember it, but where the actor guy goes to Brando near the beginning of the movie when he's, you know, trying to get on with his, I think his daughter's wedding, if I remember, and he's basically saying to him, is there any way you can influence this big movie producer into giving me a part in this movie because he's ignoring me? And he famously leaves the horse's head in the bed, and hey ho, you've scared the producer and now you've got a role. And apparently that was based on Frank Sinatra taking the part in From Here to Eternity.
Oh really?
Because Sinatra famously had gangster connections.
Was there a horse in the head? A horse in the head in the bed?
I'm not too sure about
horse in the head in the bed.
I'm not too sure if there was a horse's head, but the threat was made.
Okay.
He talked to a lot of people, said, I want this part in this movie, they're not taking me seriously. Is there any way you can push the producer into giving me the part? So
I'll threaten you, and you're going to give me what I want.
Yeah, so make him an offer he can't refuse, as the saying is. And yeah, Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather, that incident is based on Sinatra. But anyway,
never knew that.
You know, and as devious as that is, I'm happy that he did, because Sinatra's is great in that movie, and also great in Some Come Running, which had Dean Martin in, again was really good, and The Manchurian Candidate, which is one of my favourite films ever made. So I thank the world for Frank Sinatra. He was also great in the one where he's a jazz drummer. That's going to kill me, because I can't remember the title of that.
Yep, I can't help you with that.
Man with a Golden Arm. There
Okay.
it is, which is a great movie where he plays an heroin addict and does a great job. Fantastic movie if you ever get a chance to see that one. 1955, I think. So yeah. So Sinatra of the early period, I think, was the best. And I think overall, probably the best overall. But through him being in the movies then, you know, that led to a whole period where they were putting musicians into movies to help sell the movies. So you had all the Elvis Presley vehicles.
Yeah, I was going to say Elvis.
As we bring it into the 60s, yeah. I don't think he... As far as I know from Elvis, because my sister's a big fan, and I don't think he had any fun on those movies at all. I think he was kind of bullied into doing them. Yeah,
Really?
Like Tom Parker, his manager. As far as the story goes, I think so. Yeah, I think he did you know, but
He'd rather sing.
absolutely had no heart. I think by the end, you know, for the first couple, then Love Me Tender and King Creole.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, and mine too.
Love it.
You know, and JLX Rock, the first couple. I think, you know, he was doing them and it was good. It's just, you know, they got silly towards the end, didn't they? I mean, if they're ever on telly, they're kind of fun to watch because of all the guest stars there in them. You know, I mean, Vincent Price turns up in one, and Nancy Sinatra, again, who's another candidate for this very subject we're talking about, is in one later on. So there's a lot of people to kind of spot in Elvis's movies, and that's always kind of fun. And it's kind of like, what can Elvis do next? He can, you know, drive a race car. He can be a boxer. There's always some silly scenario for a president. They were kind of
a lot.
They were kind of empty-headed, and then of course he had the big 1968 comeback, which, you know, everyone remembers Elvis in the black leather, you know, coming back into the music world, and you know, thank God for that. And I'm sure it was a big relief to him. So yeah, you had those 60s kind of vehicles for musicians. I remember Stevie Wonder being in one of the Beach movies that was made by American International Pictures. with Frankie Avalon again. He would sing. So I think there's a few guest stars in those movies if I remember correctly. But basically, musicians were playing themselves and they were making movies to kind of make money. So you had the Hard Day's Night, the Beatles movie, which is really good, and the template for all the ones that came after, I think, directed by Richard Lester, which is really good.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting to have that back in that period. I wonder, because TV wasn't in the forefront as much then.
No, but not many people had a TV in their house. They couldn't afford a TV.
Right. So it's interesting that they put them in movies.
Yeah, I think it was a way of exposing. I think for record labels, it was a way of exposing the artists they had. And for film producers, it was a way of promoting their movies. It was like, maybe you'll come and see it if the Beatles are in it and stuff.
Yeah.
Two little bits of trivia just on that period, though. I read a rumour somewhere that the Rolling Stones wanted to make a movie because they were like, head and head with the Beatles, famously, as everyone knows. And Andrew Holdman, who was manager of the Stones at that point, apparently tried to buy up Anthony Burgess' A Clockwork Orange to make into a movie with the Rolling Stones as the Droogs, before Kubrick got hold of it and, did his movie.
Yeah. That would be
weird. I know. And sometimes I sit and think of Mick Jagger with the eye makeup, and I think, I don't know if I can imagine it. It might have been a completely different movie, who knows. But that one always interested me. They can never really... That's the thing. People think, well, why didn't the Stones make a movie? They did everything else to a degree that the Beatles did, but they could never find the right project for themselves.
Yeah.
And of those films of that time, because a lot of ones are made in Britain, Dave Clark 5 did, one with John Boorman, and Catch Me If You Can. But of those movies from that time, I think my personal favourite would be Head with the Monkees.
Yeah, I was going to say the Monkees.
Which I think is the best movie of that whole period. I mean, and I love the Beatles, and I hate to say this, but Ed is just bizarre.
And they weren't even a group, didn't they?
They were manufactured. Yeah,
they put them together.
Cash in on the Beatles.
Yeah, I love the Monkees.
Yeah. I mean, that's just I don't know if that's an American thing or not. But speaking as a Brit, I think Head is the most interesting movie of that period where musicians are in their own movies, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. So...
Which I can't remember that. I'm going to have to
check it out. It was written by, or co-written by Jack Nicholson.
Oh, okay.
Directed by Rob Rafelson, who did 5 Easy Pieces with Jack Nicholson. And he has a cameo in it. And Dennis, I think, it's hard for me to remember if Dennis Hopper co-wrote it as well, but Dennis Hopper's in it as well for a little bit. It's just a messed up, druggy movie. It's pretty out there. Yeah. But it's very interesting. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, definitely do. So
it's probably on YouTube somewhere.
They all are now, aren't they?
I don't know, but they make you pay for shit now. I hate it.
Yeah, one of your hopes big bugbears. So yeah, taking us into into the into the 70s, and after all that, I'm going to pick up on Mick Jagger because he did a movie with Nicholas Roeg, who is, many people know of me, a massive Nicholas Roeg fan. He's one of my favourite filmmakers. And the first film he directed was a film called Performance, which he co-directed, I should say, with Donald Cammell, with Mick Jagger, who loosely plays a psychotic, deranged version of himself. Okay. And it's one of the sort of best movies of that period, I think. British movie with James Fox, where anyone who knows, seen Performance will know what I'm talking about. But they kind of role reversal into each other. That James Fox is a gangster and he goes into hiding and he finds this little house in Notting Hill, which Mick Jagger's living in. He stays there, and Mick Jagger they kind of morph into each other. It's a bizarre, arty movie. It was very good, very controversial in its day, over sex and drugs and things. And there's a lot of stories I could probably fill a whole show with on set, where at the time Anita Pallenberg, who was Keith Richards, obviously guitar player and Rolling Stones' girlfriend, was in the movie, and Mick Jagger had an affair with her while they were making this movie. It's just complete rock and roll excess. I mean, if we ever talk about musicians and stuff, I always say the Rolling Stones for me is the ultimate rock and roll band, bar none. And if anyone wants to argue that, I've got plenty of time, because I was stressed to the point that they invented every cliche. They invented the drug busts. They invented,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah, the whole thing is
probably
just
spawned from them, right?
Yeah, I just don't think there's any band before.
How many kids? I wonder how many kids Mick has out there.
I dread to think.
He probably has some that he doesn't even know about.
I dread to think. But yeah, so Warner Brothers put out Performance and got in a lot of trouble and had to put it on hold, even though they made it in '68. It didn't get released until 1970 because of the censorship problems. So it almost backfired, basically, because they financed this movie. Let's put Mick Jagger out there, let's make let's heighten his profile. But because he's portrayed in such a bizarre light, they almost didn't want to put the film out there, and it was held up for a couple of years. but it's a great movie. It's one of my favourite films of that period.
Yeah.
Every other venture into acting for Mick Jagger was terrible, by the way. He did a film called Ned Kelly, where he plays the famous Australian outlaw, which is really bad. And then he didn't reappear until he made Free Jack in the early 90s, which was the awful science fiction movie with Emilio Estevez and Anthony Hopkins. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I probably made that sound interesting. It was terrible.
Yeah, no, if I did, I don't remember it.
It was so bad.
You know, some movies you just don't remember, and then you're like, oh, yeah.
There's certain ones, yeah.
You kind of don't care to remember.
That's one of them.
Okay.
Anyway, Nicholas Roeg, who did Performance, again, this great filmmaker that I love, also did The Man Who Fell to Earth in 1976 with David Bowie, which, again, Bowie gives a definitive role, and you could say plays himself to a degree. Certainly plays up his persona of being alien-like.
Yeah.
And that's another great movie. I don't know, Nicholas Roeg almost had like a knack of bringing out the best in these people. He also did a film in 1980 called Bad Timing, again, another one I really like, with Art Garfunkel playing a very creepy, obsessed, stalkery, necrophiliac role. Let's push Art Garfunkel out there.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I've made that. Someone's going to run out now and see that movie after I said that. It is a great movie, though, but more of an art movie. I probably sleazed it up a little bit, but that is the kind of stuff going on.
I like sleaze.
You do.
Just call me sleazy.
Sleazy Rider.
Sleazy Rider.
Yeah. So, yeah, Bad Timing's worth checking out. For Art Garfunkel's performance, he was really good in it. And
Did he have the hair?
Yeah.
His curly
fro. Yeah, that's going on. I love him as well. I love Art Garfunkel. I'll defend Simon Garfunkel all day long. That's another subject I'm big on. When he re-emerged though, in acting, because it wasn't his first film or anything. I'm just saying, but he's very good. I think he's very good in it. But he'd already Catch-22 back in 1970s. So he'd done movies, and he reappears years later in Box in the Lane, which is really weird because. That's a cult movie from the early 90s with Sheridan Fenn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take a risk.
Julian Sands.
It is, yeah, Julian Sands, Sheridan Fenn. And Bill Paxton in a really creepy vest.
Yeah.
If you remember.
Yeah.
Bill Paxton did Bill Paxton
her
ever do
boyfriend
Sleazy?
played her boyfriend, yeah, and he had the
Sleazy.
mullet too, didn't he? He was like all mullet up and
like a mesh vest.
Yeah, the mesh and didn't he was like? And I just remember jeans and mesh.
Yeah,
like
but it's just Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton still
bizarre movie. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I hope we'll defend it.
I love it. It's a good movie. I thought it was really good.
Okay, so
Jennifer Lynch, wasn't it her
debut
debut film?
David Lynch's daughter.
Her debut film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a director. Yeah.
As a director.
Yeah.
Yeah. She only did a couple though.
Yeah. Chained the best, I think. If anyone's going to investigate her career.
I still like Boxing Helena.
Chain's low better. So also.
Boxing Helena.
Yeah. Again, we can look at other people that have done movies and moving away from that. Bob Dylan famously was in Sam Peckinpah's.
Sam Peckinpah's what?
Sam Peckinpah.
Sam Peckinpah.
Yeah, one of the great American directors.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of him?
No.
Okay. I'm sure anyone listening will know who Sam Peckinpah is. I'm very disappointed and hope we got some homework to do.
It's like I'm bad at names, music, anything. Like you tell me and then I'm like, what? And then if you play it for me, I'll say, oh, okay, yeah, I know that person.
Sometimes she needs a little push.
A little push. My brain doesn't function. It's constantly on sleaze right now. That's all I know.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Maybe we should have waited before we did this. So, yeah, Sam Peckinpah, great American director, hope needs to brush up. He was famous for making action movies and westerns and stuff, but,
there you go.
Yeah. The best at what he did, though, for sure. Mm-hmm. Famously directed Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid in the early 70s, which is a great movie. Mm-hmm. Another great movie we could talk about all day. Which Bob Dylan, turns out, and did the score for as well, which is where Knocking on Heaven's Door comes from.
Oh, okay.
And he's serviceable in that. I mean... The reason I really touched on Peckinpah is...
it's just a funny name. Peckinpah.
He's the best. Because he was the kind of guy to give Chris Christopherson a break. Like, Chris Christopherson plays Billy the Kid in this, by the way. So I wanted to brush on Christopherson, who I really respect as as an artist, as a singer and a writer, and as an actor, I always think he's another one I put in my little list with Sinatra that I actually think, sort of enhance a lot of movies I really like.
Okay.
During the 70s especially. The small role he plays in Bloom in Love with George Segal, which I really like. And also Heaven's Gate, Michael Cimino's 1980 notorious Western, which I think, again, I think Christopherson does a great role in that. And Alan Rudolph's movie Trouble in Mind from 1985 as well. So I always think Christopherson's good in my eyes. I always think he's solid, likable, and he enhances. He's one of the rare people then that enhance a movie for me. If we're going to talk singers, which we are for the subject of today, I think he's one of the better ones.
Oh, okay. I'll have to brush up. You got the collection. You can show me.
Yeah, I have about 20,000 movies to show you. It looks like we got to brush up on Peck and Pat.
Yeah.
Let's talk about The Wiz.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Really?
1978. Financed by Motown, which is, come on, Motown. Which is a loose, a reworking of Wizard of Oz, should we say, then directed by Sidney Lumet as well, who, famously made Serpico and Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. All of a sudden, it was like, oh, I fancy doing a musical. So we get this movie where Diana Ross plays Dorothy, which is bizarre. And the reason I mention this movie, I don't really particularly care for the movie. It's just, it has to be seen to be believed, I think.
It's bad.
Michael Jackson is the
Scarecrow.
Yeah. Richard Pryor as well as the
Was he
great, the great wizard.
Oh,
No,
was he the wizard?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that, and I just don't
Have you? Yeah.
care to refresh on it.
You need to see it again, honestly, just to laugh. And some of it is slightly creepy. It's bizarre.
It is. Michael didn't play a good Scarecrow.
Don't you think?
Well, yeah, no, he was scary, I guess.
In real life?
Yeah. No, I love Michael.
I know. You do.
Oh, I was obsessed.
But he, just coming from that, as loosely as we're kind of delivering this show today, interestingly enough, he was groomed for, a terrible word to use with Michael Jackson, was,
Please don't.
was put out there for movies to be made in the 80s using Michael Jackson's name, because for years they wanted to make a Peter Pan movie, which would have been so inappropriate now. But Spielberg tried to make Hook with Michael Jackson before it became the Robin Williams movie.
He wanted him to play Hook.
Wanted to play Peter Pan, which makes it even worse.
Because he always wanted to be, he
was Peter Pan, wasn't he, surely?
Neverland.
So,
Neverland, yeah.
Yeah, so Jacko was, I think Michael Jackson wanted to break into the world of acting.
Yeah.
And like you said, if we're going to judge up by The Wiz,
No.
probably a good idea.
Yeah, that he stuck to his music.
Yeah. But
Well, what about Thriller? He acted in that little bit.
But it's a
and
music
within-
video. But it was kind of like a short movie.
Yeah, but it was a short movie. He did act it out.
I'm not like other guys. No shit. Moving away from him, though, Prince again in the 80s, which I know you're a big fan of.
The little purple one.
Yeah.
I love
mean, again, a showman for definite. Was he an actor? I don't think he was an actor.
Purple Rain was like one of the greatest movies ever made, I think, from a musician. By a musician.
Yeah.
I think Under the Cherry Moon is another favorite of mine. A lot of people didn't like it, but I think it's probably one of my... I think it's one of my favorite scores, though, is Under the Cherry Moon. But Purple Rain is just
well, the music,
well known.
The music was impeccable as well. It's Prince, for God's sake, isn't it? So the music was always
But he was good playing himself.
Again, yeah. And these are complete vanity projects, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's a chance for Prince to put himself out there and say, I can do everything. Because I think he wrote... I'm pretty sure he might have even directed the later ones, and the Cherry Moon and what's the other
Sign of the Times.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
or Graffiti Bridge. Sorry.
yes, thank you.
Yeah,
That's the one.
there we go. I didn't care for that one as much.
No, but I just think they were complete vanity projects for Prince, though.
Well, yeah.
He wanted to take on the world, and at that point, he was at the height of his kind of powers, if as an artist, I suppose.
Yeah, because in the 80s you had MTV coming out, and that's when videos they were an art. Like, they were like mini movies. You would have some videos that were like 5-6 minutes long, and because these...
Like Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yeah, because these people wanted to act out something, like do a spiel. Like even in, I remember that Steve Perry one that he did, Oh Sherry. There's like the whole spiel beforehand, like they wanted him to be in some play or something, and he just wanted Sherry.
I know.
So it's just like this little love story in a video. It's just so awesome.
Did you
I don't
remember?
know.
I don't know if you remember the Bruce Springsteen "I'm on Fire" one as well, where he's at the garage doing his mechanic's
Yeah,
job, and the
yeah.
woman drops the car in, and he's like, "Oh, I'll drop it off later," and he kind of goes to and literally the song is, anyone who knows, it's like 2 minutes 20 seconds. We've got a 2 minute 20 second song as quick as we can. And he
Yeah.
goes to the house and he goes to knock on the door and he's like, "No, I'll go home instead."
It's so great. See, I miss MTV like that.
Yeah.
MTV's just all fucking teen moms and
Well, they don't even play music anymore, do they?
no, it sucks.
Yeah.
MTV it shouldn't even be music television. There is no music on music TV.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks. I'm just telling you right now, MTV, you suck.
Yeah, no,
Get
I'm
all
kind
those,
of inclined to agree.
you ruined television with all those fucking reality shows. Don't even get me started on reality shows.
And
But
that, folks, is another show.
yeah, he heard my rant the other day about that. But yeah, I used to love the videos, and I thought it was more. They made it into mini movies back then.
Yeah. I
for
always
people.
felt sorry, though, for the artists that didn't want to pursue that side of things. You know, they were kind of like putting in their music, doing their thing. That's what they were happy
They
doing.
just showed
and
up.
then their big record label was like, "You've got to make a video now," and they were like, "Oh, really? I'm gonna have to try and act," because you can.
There were some that just stay in the background.
and some people look really uncomfortable making it,
Yeah.
which is really funny
Yeah.
watching about it. But people like Springsteen he was loving it. He was basking in it.
Yeah, and then you had Twisted Sister. What are you gonna do with your life? Isn't that
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Wasn't it from that one? I just
No.
it's been so long, but there.
Personally, I'd say that was just twisted.
Oh, it's good. That guy was in a movie the other day that we watched. I forgot.
See, this subject is so big, and I know by the end.
An actor was in one of the movies that we watched the other day. Who was in Twisted Sister?
Okay, I'm not sure.
I wanna rock.
Okay, yeah, well, you carry on rocking, my dear. But yeah, I mean, this subject could. I mean, I'm gutted now because I'm starting to think of a million other things that we can discuss here.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to run it on this
Yeah.
show.
That's okay. They don't care if we go over. You
Is
can
that-
either forward or forward us or just don't listen. Whatever.
That's if you're still listening.
Yeah.
Another one I got to bring up as well, who had a big career, even won the Oscar. The Oscar, which many actors never even touch or get nominated for. Cher,
Oh, love
who won the Oscar for Moonstruck, which I got to say is terrible.
Nick Cage.
Terrible movie.
Nick Cage. That's all I gotta say. Nick Cage.
How do you feel
He's the
about?
man.
Yeah, he's he's more wooden in that hand that he's got in the movie. Does he have a wooden
No.
arm in that movie?
What's something with his arm?
Is it made of wood? Or is it just his performance that's wooden?
It's not wooden.
Boom, boom, tss.
No.
Hey,
That
do you
wasn't funny at all.
As she laughs. There it is.
At myself.
Can you hear it?
Sure.
So, Cher,
I like Cher.
you're a fan?
Very much so.
Okay. I mean, I've always had this thing, personally, if I'm being honest, I always feel that Cher played herself a lot. And every Cher performance, like Mask, right? Which is not her first, okay? Bear
Yeah.
with me.
I
She
think-
did Come to the Five and Dine Jimmy Dean for Robert Altman before then. And obviously did the Sonny and Cher movie, which we should have brought up earlier in our little section on the 60s.
Yeah.
Which was directed by William Friedkin. He went on to do The Exorcist and French Connection and stuff. But bringing her back into the 80s, then when she hit her peak, she did Mask in 85, which I think is the best Cher performance.
Yeah,
Even
I
though
was
it's
gonna say she was really.
based on a true story, so she's kind of basing it on someone, but she plays the kind of persona that I think is Cher. And then for me, if I'm speaking personally, I feel that things like Mermaids and Witches of Eastwick and stuff are just variations. She's in Silkwood as well. I've seen a lot of films, but they're kind of variations on that tough, woman who's at it hard.
But
and
maybe
it
that's
kind of
just
grates
her.
on me.
But I think that's just her.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the persona. I think she's great in Master, by the way,
Yeah.
but I'm not a big fan of that Cher persona. But
No.
she's, I think, the only one on this list as we keep talking who actually won an Oscar for a performance. So
Well, there you go. That just
Yeah.
proves everything that she was good with her toughness.
I'm not too sure.
Don't you do a good impersonation of Cher?
And that is a whole other show.
That's I'm not gonna do it for you.
Well, maybe if this show gets enough listeners, I'll
You'll
I'll
bring
do it
her
on the
out.
next one.
You'll bring out
I'll
your
do it on
inner
the next
Cher.
one, yeah. I'll feel so bad that I didn't do it. I'll do it on the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to say about Cher?
No.
Other than she plays herself a lot.
Um, no, I just love the Cherokee woman.
Tom Waits is another one which I want to bring up. I'm a big fan of. As a personality, as a performer, and I love him as a singer as well, even though he's a very required taste. But again, I always kind of like his presence in the movie. Kind of draws me in. Tom Waits always plays slightly eccentric characters, but the films that he made with Francis Coppola, even though he has smaller parts in those, and especially the ones the ones that he worked on then with Jim Jarmusch, Down by Law, which also has John Lurvie, and he was I'm sure he was in the. Was he in a jazz group called the Lounge Lizards? I believe he was a cool guy as well. Before, yeah, just trying to
Doesn't he
remember.
always play the same kind of
Tom
persona?
Waits? Yeah, to a degree. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess yeah, you could accuse him of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of warm to him though.
It's funny. I thought he was in Cat's Eye for a minute, but it was Taco.
Oh yeah, we had a bit. Literally 5 minutes before he came on, we discussed Tom Waits, and the hope was thinking
I
someone
said,
completely
"Is he in
different.
Cat's Eye?" And then I was like, "Oh no, that was Taco."
Who is Taco?
Isn't he from New York Dolls?
Taco?
Yeah. Did he have
No.
a different persona than somebody he looks like? I don't know what his name is.
Taco.
Taco is his name. He did music. His name was Taco.
Yeah.
You don't remember?
No. but I know who Tom Waits is, and again, I'm a fan. He would make my kind of list with Christopherson and Sinatra too. Is another one I kind of like. He turns up. You've also got people like who literally do the smallest parts, and then they're not there to like push out their persona any more than turn up and add a bit of quirky charm to the movie. People like Debbie Harry.
Love Deborah Harry.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, she played in Tales from the Dark Side,
She is.
the movie
Yeah.
and the TV show.
Yeah.
She did
Videodrome.
Videodrome,
Airspray.
Hairspray.
Yeah. And she was in an indie movie, which I've seen in the 90s. I've only ever seen it once. It was called Heavy. With Liv Tyler, I think, was in it. I'm not a fan of, but I thought she was very good. Played, kind of a dramatic part of a kind of aging woman losing her looks then. And I thought Debbie Harry kind of got it.
What was it called?
Heavy. It's an indie movie from the 90s.
It sounds familiar.
It's an interesting little. It's not perfect, but I think Debbie Harry gives it something that I didn't think she had, and it took me by surprise. Actually, well, you have a bit of range, to have done more of this.
Yeah, I think she's one that does both well, singing and acting. I always thought she was a really good actor.
Yeah,
Actress.
and if Debbie Harry ever turns up in anything, so I was like, oh, Debbie Harry's in it, cool.
Yeah,
it's
it
just-
makes it a little bit cooler.
Yeah, I always think so.
She was great in Hairspray, and then with Sonny Bono.
Yeah, again, so another musician, and
Yeah.
my mate from the Cars,
Cri-
Rick.
Ocasek.
That's the one. Yeah. So that was always fun to see those guys in the movies. And keeping on the theme of John Waters, Chris Isaac, who turns up in Dirty Shame, who I also love. He's in many small parts for
Twin Peaks and stuff.
Yeah, I forgot he was in. Yeah, he's in Fire Walk With Me. I'm a big,
Yeah, Fire Walk
I'm a
With
massive
Me.
Chris Isaac fan, so I'm disappointed in myself. But yeah, he's in Fire Walk With Me.
Yeah.
And the cameos he does for Jonathan Demme, because he turns up in Silence of the Lambs for a little bit, Married to the Mob for a little bit. So Chris Isaac's floating around in a few things. I'm sure he's in the Bertolucci movie as well from the 80s. But so he's another like on the same with Debbie Harry and Grace Jones.
Harry-
And Grace Jones too.
What about Harry Connick Jr.?
Yeah.
Love
He
him.
did Spell, and he did Copycat, didn't he? Was that where he played the serial killer?
Copycat. He was in Bug.
Oh, okay.
He played
the-
Ashley Judd's
with the William Friedkin
crazy
movie.
boyfriend.
Okay.
That's a good movie.
You like that one?
I love it. Michael Shannon, Ashley Judd. It's fun. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, so it's small two-handed kind
you've
of
never seen
character
it,
piece
watch
play.
it.
Almost feels like a play, doesn't it? Which Friedkin's very good at doing.
It is. It
It's
does.
based on a play.
Yeah, it does. It's just twisted on somebody who was having issues, like they were both having like mental issues and
Yeah.
and
Which is a little bit like me and you when we come on here.
yeah, it's like me and you. We'll set ourselves on fire.
Yeah. No, we won't. Not until we finish the broadcast. Harry Connick Jr. was in that? I forget.
Yeah, he played her crazy boyfriend.
God, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it.
And I always thought, he was just really good at that.
Yeah, no, he's always a
thing.
cool guy as well.
Yeah.
And a talented musician, obviously, first and foremost.
Which was weird because he did a talk show recently, and it was bad. Like, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know.
Well, he presented a talk show.
Yeah, he presented a talk show, and it was, it was just so I still liked him, but it just wasn't that great. It was like he was trying to fill these spots, and it was just bad.
Was he better than us?
No,
We're trying to fill spots.
we're trying to fill spots, but yeah, Harry Connick Jr. is another one
Okay.
that I love, and that does music and film,
Yeah.
along with Chris Isaac and
Yeah, kind of cool. And Tom Waits and John Lurie, who I mentioned, they kind of cool. Had a little, Debbie Harry had that little
not Taco.
element of cool. No, not Tiger. Little element of cool to the movie.
I probably don't even know what the fuck I'm talking
I
about.
have absolutely no idea.
I'm like, oh, he's from this. He's probably not. So just ignore me. And the people behind this is probably thinking she's a dumbass right now.
If you or any of your friends know
Just
Taco,
tell me. Just tell me. I'm not offended. Just tell me who Taco is.
if any of you guys know who Taco is, can you please leave us a message on our group saying the vision?
Yeah. Taco.
Okay, and then we got these one-off.
He does the Ritz. Putting on the Ritz.
Okay, well, you're due back on planet Earth anytime soon.
Yeah.
Let's talk Tina Turner in Beyond Thunderdome. Let's talk Grace Jones in Vamp, who I mentioned. We bounced over Grace Jones. I always like seeing Grace Jones
yeah.
doing that.
Yeah, no, I love her.
And View to a Kill and Vamp. And
Vamp,
she
yeah.
just scares me. She's the one scary woman. And it always makes me laugh, actually, while we're on the subject, real quickly, for any Bond fans. She's in A View to a Kill, where she plays Christopher Walken's like henchman, but henchwoman, and where she, where like the old Bond villain doesn't like to get his hands dirty, so he's always got the brute to do all the violence for him. And it's funny because Grace Jones basically plays the brute.
Is the brute, yeah.
And the scenes between her and Christopher Walken are hilarious because Christopher Walken looks scared of her. This is Christopher Walken. Do you know what I mean? This is like,
Yeah.
one of the most famous, famous for playing creepy, gangstery, hard men.
Yeah.
And he looks absolutely scared shitless of Grace Jones. I don't blame him. But yeah.
You have a great story of Grace coming. Didn't they do a contest here?
Yeah, in Cardiff. They basically, the most popular name in Wales, well, that part of Wales then was Grace Jones. So they basically said for a laugh, and this is not that long ago actually, I think it was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. So basically in Cardiff Castle, which is a big castle in the middle of Cardiff town, which you've been to Cardiff with me.
Yeah, when we went to the Comic Con.
Yeah. So in Cardiff Castle, they basically put it out there that if your name's Grace Jones, can you come to the castle and sign this little petition form just to say you were there? And then we could see how many not famous, but how many Grace Joneses we
In
can
the
get,
world.
Yeah, can we get in one place?
Yeah.
So they did it for a laugh, and the Grace Jones
Love it.
turned up.
Yeah, that's so great.
So which kind of
She's down to earth.
because she has a real diva image though, which is and you see her on talk shows and she is very divish, but she's bizarre. I just think she's bizarre. She turned up for this random event which wasn't going to give her any publicity at all. She turned up for it. It's very strange.
Yeah, just to say, hey, I'm the #1 Grace Jones right here. And do you think that was her diva coming out?
That's probably what it was. There can only be one. It was not.
I'm the only Grace that matters.
I think it was a pure Highlander moment. There can be only one.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was
happening.
terrible, by the way. I apologise to all our Scottish members.
Yeah. Stuart needs an apology.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's really bad of me.
He'll teach you.
Again, one-off kind of people. Isaac Hayes, another interesting one. Was brilliant in a film called Truck Turner, which is a blaxploitation movie, which I really like. Probably my favourite blaxploitation movie, which is a big deal for me because I love that whole subgenre. And then, of course, he turned up in Escape from New York, which probably more people may have seen. And then he had his famous incident on South Park, where he was playing chef and getting a lot of attention and fame from it. And it was funny because it was almost
Salty balls. Yeah.
It's funny how Hope remembers that. Out of all the Isaac Hayes songs, Hope remembers chocolate.
Chocolate salty balls.
No, mine are not chocolate.
Can dip it in chocolate.
Oh dear, you've caught us on a bad day. But he had this real thing in the South Park thing where it was almost like he was quite happy to laugh at them taking the piss of everybody's religions and ideas and stuff. But then as soon as they made one joke about something that he believed in, he quit the show.
Really?
Yeah. And I always found that really interesting. I was like, you're quite happy to laugh at everybody else's stuff except your own. Which, I don't want to make any kind of statement here on this show about that, but it kind of surprised me, really, that he felt that strongly.
Yeah.
That it was okay when it was everyone else's expense. And the moment it was his, he kind of quit, which really disappointed me because I love it. Isaac Hayes is a musician I absolutely adore. And
He probably didn't. He probably didn't listen to it before. Like he
I
probably
think he
just
just
went
turned
in.
up and did his bit.
Yeah, he just turned up and did his bit, and then when he was told he had to say something, he's like, "Oh no, wait a minute, I ain't doing that."
Yeah, I
type
know.
thing,
But you've been
right?
quite happy to sing about chocolate salty balls for the last year. Do you know what I mean?
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
I'll make a song. I'll do a version of chocolate salty balls.
And if you want to hear that, just leave us a message somewhere. I'm sure that message
That
board
video
will
will
be
be
clear.
coming soon. Yeah.
Oh dear God. Also, Bjork is someone else we could touch on.
Oh yes.
Who turned in, I thought, a good performance in Lars Van Trier's Dancer in the Dark, where she was the kind of single mum going blind, works in the factory, and
Did she win an award for that?
I think at Cannes or some European film festival, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's very good in it. I mean, I like Lars as a director, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose he could be accused of being pretentious, but I kind of roll with it. I kind of like what he does.
Yeah.
And I thought she was very good in it, which, maybe it was a share moment. She might be only able to play that one type, but she did do a really good job.
Yeah.
I thought she was really cool in that. Eminem did 8 Mile.
Oh yeah.
He played himself.
Just himself. Yeah. I was
Just
just gonna say
himself.
he just played himself in a movie.
Yeah. And Mike Hutchins did it in, did you ever see Dogs in Space?
No.
Which was an Australian movie in the early 80s.
Oh yeah, I heard about it, but
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it.
If you're a Michael Hutchins fan, you'll love him in it.
Okay.
If for any reason you're like myself, and I don't hate in excess at all, I respect what the Farris brothers did with that group.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael Hutchins is, he did the frontman part, the poor man's Jim Morrison, but he did it very well. But
That's a little harsh.
no, it's true. But Dogs in Space,
He's just Michael.
yeah, the poor man's Jim Morrison. But Dogs in Space, right? Mm-hmm. He plays himself, and he kind of flounces around the movie. And if you like him, you'll love Dogs in Space. If you don't like him, it's an hard watch because he grates on me.
I'll
In
have
that.
to watch it. Yeah.
And don't take me, don't anyone get me the wrong way, because I actually like In Excess as a pop band, but I struggle with Art Michael.
Well, now I have to see and judge for myself.
Yeah, you'll probably.
I don't
like
take
it.
your opinion.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Not when you're calling them names. I won't.
Ringo Starr as well. There's another one.
Yes.
Obviously did the Beatle movies, but he kind of broke into a bit of acting himself, didn't he? He's in The Magic Christian with Peter Sellers, which I quite like. And he also did a spaghetti western, which is interesting to anyone who's listening to this who are a fan of this crazy Italian subgenre, which I know Paul Harmer is a fan of spaghetti westerns. He probably know what I'm talking about. But he did a film called Blind Man, which was like, this avenging, gunfighter. It's just weird seeing Ringo Starr play that kind of role. I'm not completely convinced, I'll be honest, but
Okay, so was he in a movie?
yes. He was in many, which is why I'm bringing him up.
The Food of Gods, maybe?
Not
Food
Food of
Have
the
Gods?
Gods.
No?
But Caveman.
Caveman. Okay,
No,
I
boom,
thought he
we're there
played a
now.
caveman.
Caveman.
I thought he played a caveman somewhere.
did.
And that was really funny.
You enjoyed that one?
I did. I did enjoy that one because it was so goofy.
Dennis Quaid. Is it a young Dennis Quaid in that one as well, I think?
Was it?
Is it-
A young boy.
Yeah.
Was he a young boy in
Well,
that one?
He's a younger.
Teenage.
Yeah. He's in it.
Well, I gotta watch it again.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, but I liked it. I remember liking it.
Sting, another one.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm not a big Sting fan.
No.
But again, appeared in a handful of interesting movies. It has to be said, and whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. The films are interesting. Brimstone and Treacle is a really interesting movie based on a Dennis Potter play. And as you know, I'm a big Dennis Potter fan who actually comes from our neck of the woods where we are now, based on one of his plays, which I think Sting, does a decent enough job in. Obviously, it's most, probably people most remember him for his role in Quadrophenia as the Ace Face, which he does very well. Again, he doesn't have to say much; he just has to look good, which he kind of does for the movie. He was also in a film called Radio On, which is a really arty movie made weirdly on the motorways between Bristol and London. Which is a very good movie, and when we would do a show in the future about movies that incorporate music really well. Radio On is a really good one from 1979 about a guy who his brother has died, and he kind of makes it. It's basically a road movie, but filled. It's shot in black and white, and it's shot on these old motorways in the 70s, and it's filled with craft work and Dave Bowie and stuff. And it's a really good piece, directed by German. totally gone out of my mind now. The German guy who directed it was assistant to Wim Wenders, who did Wings of Desire and Paris, Texas and stuff. So he's got a really art house sensibility. It's an interesting little movie. And Sting turns up in that and plays this like Eddie Cochran obsessed garage mechanic in his brief cameo, but it's memorable. Weirdly, it's a memorable little scene. So yeah, I think
Sting.
Yeah, I think he's, less said about The Bride, the better. We'll bring that up, actually. Don't know if anyone ever seen The Bride, which was a 1985 take on the Frankenstein story, where he gets to play the Dr. Frankenstein himself, is played by Sting.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Did you ever see it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's one of the most bizarrest films, I think, possibly one of the most bizarrest films of the decade, I think. It's not terror. I don't want to say it's terrible, but Sting is so miscast. Clancy Brown plays the monster very well, has to be said. Jennifer Beals turns out, but Sting as the Doctor is quite a hard sell.
Yeah.
Has to be said.
Yeah. What was that one movie? Okay, so River Phoenix.
Yeah.
We watched a movie recently where he played him and Samantha Matheson.
A Thing Called Love.
A Thing Called Love, where
Yeah.
they played country. She was so wrong. I could see River Phoenix, though, singing, but she was bad, I have to say.
It's not bad.
Yeah, singing, I didn't like it. But also, young Sandra Bullock
Yes.
was
Yeah.
singing in
Yeah.
it.
And Dermot Mulroney too. Directed by Peter Bogdanovich in the 93 or 94, I think it's one of the last River Phoenix performances. And it was interesting because Bogdanovich is a director and told his cast to write their own songs. So again, this touches on the subject we're talking about, that he encouraged the actors to go away and write their own songs. And apparently Sandra Bullock was quite comfortable doing that.
Yeah, she did good. Her and, I thought River Phoenix and Dermot, I think, were good. I just didn't like Samantha in it, which I don't mind her as an actress. She's good. Pump up the volume and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good movie.
But I just don't see. He was in a band too, wasn't he? Like with him, Keanu. There was Johnny Depp. That whole time of them in the 90s.
Yeah, when they were all at their height of posters on teenage girls' walls.
They all had their guitar. Yeah.
I'm glad you actually brought this subject up because, yeah, I do kind of lump all those people in together. But I just wanted to mention Johnny Depp for a second.
Okay.
So when he first came to LA, it was to be in a band. He went out there with desires. I think he packed his guitar up and went to LA to, become a musician.
Yeah.
And while he was out there, things weren't quite taking off for him, even though he's apparently quite a talented guitar player. I'm not too sure. I'd have to check that out. But he got friendly with Nicolas Cage in 1983-84, and Nicolas Cage said to
How
him...
can you not like Nicolas Cage?
Oh, very easily.
No.
But bear with me. So yeah, he met Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage said to him, "Look, while you're out here trying to get a gig, why don't you just do some acting, make some money while you're here?" And he famously got him the audition for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
So do we thank Nicolas Cage for getting Johnny Depp into acting? I don't know, but if you're a Johnny Depp fan, yeah, I guess you do. Yeah, he got him the audition.
Well, that's interesting to know.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, which that sounds like a good thing.
And all the other
Yeah, and then Johnny Depp...
good films. I mean, he's hit and miss for me, but he's okay.
Nicolas Cage? Yeah.
No.
But
Nicolas
Johnny
Cage
Depp...
can do no wrong.
Yeah. But Johnny Depp still plays guitar, obviously, in the band. He's playing Hollywood Vampires or something with Alice Cooper, of all people.
Yeah.
He's crossed over into a few... We haven't mentioned him either, because he's in a few horror movies in the 80s.
Freddy's,
Yeah, was he in Freddy's Dead?
yeah.
Yeah, he's also
The
in
3D one,
Prince of Darkness.
wasn't he? Or was it just his song?
No,
I think he made a little appearance.
Yes, he has a cameo in that, you're correct. And there's also in Prince of Darkness for John Carpenter. He's a big horror fan in general as well, as
Yeah.
he knows he's a bit of a horror buff, then, should we say. But Johnny Depp carried on playing guitar, like I said, as he does now with Alice Cooper. But he also played guitar on an Oasis track, I think, remember back in the 90s when it was cool to be all hanging out
Did he?
together. Yeah, when he was dating Kate Moss.
Oh, okay.
And Kate Moss was good friends with Meg Matthews, who at that point was Noel Gallagher's wife, I think. And but yeah, apparently the myth is that there was a song on the Be Here Now album, which is terrible, by the way. Sorry, Oasis fans, but it is. There's a track on it.
I'm not a fan, so I don't care.
There's a track on that album where it required slide guitar. And Noel just couldn't do it. He could not get it down.
Really?
Nope.
There's something he couldn't do.
There's a lot of things he can't do. But he asked Johnny Depp to provide him with the slide guitar. So Johnny Depp's a guest on the album, and he plays the bit that Noel Gallagher couldn't. So it makes you think maybe Johnny Depp would have survived in the world of rock music. I don't know. And I'm not going to be, even though I'm not Johnny Depp's biggest fan, I can't really comment on him as a musician because I've never really listened. So, but yeah, there you go. Bit of trivia for you anyway.
Yeah, and it's funny how they just carry on to that musicians putting into movies because then as you come into the whole pop era, you have Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, and I don't remember if Christina Aguilera did a movie, but I know Britney did somewhere.
Can we
She
also
did.
mention Mariah Carey and Glitter?
Yeah.
We sat last night having one of our work meetings, and I said to Hope, "Please let me mention Glitter."
It's one of your favorite movies, I heard.
Glitter.
You like to sprinkle glitter everywhere, don't you?
Has anyone seen Glitter, by the way? It's terrible. But I have to
I'm sure my friend Vicky's seen it, and she
Oh.
probably loves it
Gee,
because Mariah can
Okay.
do no wrong to her.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
I'm sure.
Glitter is terrible, but no more terrible than the vast filmography of Madonna. We haven't even touched on yet.
Oh, Madonna. I remember seeing Who's That Girl at the theater, and
Okay.
I was like,
Did you like it?
I kind of did at the time. And yeah, because she was
Probably
in
'cause-
Desperately Seeking Susan.
Which is, can I just stress, I think it's a good movie, by the way, by Susan Seidelman, which did a good job.
Yeah,
And it's the only, for me personally, it's the only good Madonna movie.
she made her little appearance in Vision Quest,
Oh, yeah.
one of my favorite
Totally
movies.
forgot that.
Great song, Crazy for You.
And Gambler.
And Gambler, yes.
It's my sister would happily point
I know,
out to me.
point out. Yeah, but I was always a huge Madonna fan. So Who's That Girl was
You let that one off the jet.
I did because it was just so cheesy. She brought it. Like I didn't see, Shanghai
Shanghai Surprise with
Sean
Sean
Penn,
Yeah.
which her
They just got
husband at
married,
the time.
yeah.
Yeah. Never I kind of like bits and pieces, but when I did see it I was like, "Oh, this is shit."
Bad movie.
Yeah, so it's just like not even. What else did she do? Anything else
Dick
after
Tracy.
that? Oh, Dick Tracy, yeah.
Which was, a lot of people hate this movie. I personally, I think it's fun at best. I don't think it's great, but it's a kind of spot who's in it because the cast is so massive for that movie.
Then was she doing Warren Beatty at the time?
Yeah.
Like she fucks everybody.
Yeah, which is
Like-
the way you kind of know she did. That's the same Madonna got a career. But if you notice but yeah, if you notice, because Warren Beatty's kind of skulking around in the background of In Bed with Madonna, which is a documentary, and it's almost like they're filming her when like Warren Beatty's accidentally in her house and stuff, if I remember correctly, and it was always a bit like, what the hell is Warren Beatty doing?
In which one?
In-
Truth or
in
Dare?
Be-
Oh,
Yeah.
In Bed with
Oh yeah, 'cause I'm
Madonna.
not sure what you call it. You might have an alternative
Oh,
title.
alternative. There we go. See,
Okay.
we always say that because I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
In Bed. So yeah, it was probably Truth or Dare.
Okay, In Bed with Madonna.
I love it.
Yeah. Me and Hope have had a big discussion about alternative titles in the past.
Yeah.
Adventures in Babysitting.
A Night Out on the Town.
A Night on the Town.
Doesn't it sound like a hooker movie or something? Like A Night on the Town. It just sounds. I would not think of babysitting with A Night Out on the Town. Like, what the
No.
fuck is that?
I don't know
Like,
what happened
seriously.
yet, but yeah, we
Why did
renamed
you guys
it.
have to rename it? You already have an Adventures in Babysitting? Like, Adventures in Babysitting, it's just way better. I would think, okay, well, she's having an adventure while babysitting.
Why
A
can't
Night
she-
on the Town. It's
why can't
like,
she
I'm
have a
gonna
night on
go
the town?
have a night on the town and do bad things, like get laid or pick up a hooker or something. I don't know.
That wouldn't be the PG rated movie that we all know and love. would
Do
it?
drugs, night on the town. It's just
Elizabeth Shue.
terrible.
Elizabeth Shue, yeah.
With the kids behind her.
I
No,
know, I
that's
know.
just terrible title.
Okay.
Wrong on your guys' doing.
Can you explain to me real quickly before we kind of finish here as well what California Man was about?
Encino Man.
Yeah. Whatever
You
that
guys
means.
couldn't say Encino.
We didn't know what it was.
I know.
I'm
it's
guessing. I'm not saying
strange.
I didn't know what it was. I did. I did know what it
A
was.
place in
But-
California.
Yeah. But it was California Man over here, by the way. Which Hope loves. So what's that movie with Sean Astin and George of the Jungle
Pauly
Guy, Brendan
Shore.
Fraser? Yeah. It's-
Wasn't Pauly Shore in
Yeah,
that
he
one?
is. Yeah. No, he is. Yeah. And I'd always say, "Oh, it's California Man," and she'd be like, "What? What is
I'm like,
California
what the
Man?"
fuck are you talking about? What the fuck did you guys do? What are you doing to our American movies?
Okay, A Night on the Town of California Man recommended.
Adventures in Babysitting and Encino Man.
Okay, but like
Definitely.
just to swing it back before we lose our audience completely. Yeah, Madonna.
Oh, they're hanging. They got us.
Oh, they like this.
Yeah, they like us.
Okay.
Going off track.
I know, and let's be fair. When you're talking about Madonna's acting career,
It's
you
kinda
probably
off
need
track.
distracting. Yeah, you probably need distracting. It's very poor.
Yeah, she's bad actress. Stick to your music. Madonna.
Yeah, I'm afraid I have to completely agree with my co-host there. Before we finish as well, as I'm sure we're probably near the end of another exciting episode of Vision. Tupac.
Oh, I love him.
You haven't, I know you're a big fan, so I kind of wanted to throw that in for you because I know you're a fan.
Gridlocked is
Yeah.
one of my favorite. Tim Roth.
Yes, yeah.
Such a great movie.
Yeah, a little movie from 96. Almost the same kind of time that Trainspotting came out and it kind of got lost in the mix, I think.
Yeah,
a
it
bit,
did.
'cause
I kind of
about drug addiction and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I picked it up later on video
Yeah.
cassette, VHS for all you kids out there.
Yeah, and he turned in a good performance in Poetic Justice as
Poetic
well.
Justice.
I think he's the best
Janet
thing in that as
Jackson.
well. Which again, yeah.
Janet Jackson,
Yeah,
there you
I've got
go.
another singer.
Another.
Which was John Singleton's kind of follow-up to Boys in the Hood. It's a good little indie movie, and I think Tupac does... He plays a mailman. I'm sure he plays a postman in that, if I remember.
I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen that.
That's not a good profession, by the way.
No. But speaking of Janet, like she started out on Good Times.
What's
like
Good
she
Times?
was actress before. I think she did singing. Good Times is a TV show in America.
Okay.
And J.J. Walker.
Who?
J.J. Walker. Dynamite. You don't remember J.J. Walker?
Not at all. That one has gone way over my head.
John Amos. He was the
Who?
father, John Amos. And, okay, I'm lost here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Janet was the little girl in it. So it was a good show.
Yeah.
Got to get you watching it if you've never seen it. I'm sure American people are like, oh my God, I love Good Times.
Yeah.
J.J. Walker.
But at the same time, this is coming from somebody who told me that Taco. It's
I don't even know what the fuck it is. I'm telling you, he was putting on the Ritz. He is dancing and singing, putting on the Ritz. I'm going to bring it up. It's going to be posted. I'm going to post it. Putting on the Ritz. It's out there. I know. If not, then I'm just fucked in the head. I don't even know.
And can I just say on the last note before Hope has a mental breakdown on air, I just want to put a big shout out there for Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers as well. They had a few cameos in the 80s that me and my mates who were listening to this would be like, oh yeah, I mentioned Flea, which we always laugh because he's in Back to the Future 2 and 3. And he was in Suburbia as well, which is really cool, and also in My Own Private Idaho.
With that one guy. He
Which
was
one?
in that John Cryer guy.
Dudes!
Dudes.
Love Dudes. I won't have a bad word for Dudes, by the way. Which is directed by the same Penelope Spieler as it did Suburbia and Boys Next Door.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Dudes is a good film.
Yeah,
I think
it's fun.
And I think it deserves cult status to me. That it's kind of forgotten now, which is really sad. It's a good movie. So yeah, I have to mention him before we finish up here, which we're about to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so thanks for listening to a looser show this week. A little bit more of me and Hope being absolutely ridiculous. If you're still listening, thank you very much for persevering with our stupidity.
Hopefully we taught you something, or at least he taught you something, not about tacos. But at least the man of the hour, Ian James, knows his facts about stuff. I'm just here to chime in my stupidness.
I thought you can't sell yourself short. Also, real quick before we find off again, because I'm really annoyed with myself.
I don't mind.
Forgetting so many things while we're here. But The Runaways.
Oh, yes. The Runaways.
Yeah, Sheree.
Yes.
Sheree Curry, who was really good in a film called Foxes. I don't know if you've ever seen that one with Jodie Foster, which I wanted to put a shout because it's one of my faves as well. From 1980 with Jodie
Matt
Foster.
Dillon. That's the wrong one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Little Darling. Sorry.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be on Taco again. But...
See, my brain needs sleep today.
Also, one last shout out as well for Paul Schrader's really cool drama from the 80s called Light of Day, which is based on a Bruce Springsteen song, which Joan Jett is great in, by the way, which I want to squeeze that one in as well, that Joan Jett turns in a good performance in that one, where she plays Michael J. Fox's brother, and they've got a band, and it's really cool little
What
movie.
is it called?
Light of Day.
Light
From
of
1987. That's worth checking out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if I have.
that is my last contribution to this absolute crazy ramble of a show today.
I think there's so much more that we didn't touch on.
Probably.
Like Justin Timberlake. You didn't touch on
there's probably
JT.
There's probably a good reason we didn't touch on that. So, this kind of is it then for this time. Hopefully you'll join us on a more cohesive, focused show next time. But I hope you had fun with us today anyway. So this is Ian James saying goodbye.
And this is Hope saying goodbye.
Goodbye.